All right, we'll get to more phone calls coming up. He's one of the great basketball minds that I know. He is Dan Dickau, who joins us on the program. Oh, no, it's it's Dakich. Oh, Dan Dakich, former college coach. He played for Bob Knight in Indiana. His podcast on Outkick is Don't At Me. Sorry, Dan, I got confused on who we were having on.
Dickau dreams of having my hair. He dreams of it.
Good to have you on. Your reaction to the committee putting North Carolina in the tournament. How egregious is this, or is it to you?
Oh, I think it was ridiculous. And I like Bubba Cunningham. I've known him since he was at Ball State and I was at Bowling Green. And I've always thought well of him. But you can't have in your contract, some say he got 104,000, some say he got 67. I don't care. You can't have that in your contract. The hint of impropriety is ridiculous. And the other thing is, Dan, they put all these metrics in. Okay, that's fine. And I know mathematicians. I got 3 friends that are mathematicians, math teachers, and they're like, you can make math go any way you want. I didn't think Carolina should be in for the simple reason, who did they beat over the course of a season? I think Indiana should have been in, same reason. But I do think that it has to get straightened out where guys have bonuses for their schools to be in the tournament. I think that's just wrong. It reeks of, frankly, it's nefarious. Don't tell me you weren't in the room. Don't treat us like children. You were talking to them at dinner. You would have drinks, whatever, at the coffee shop. Don't treat us like children. We know how this works. And I just think, whether you want to put them in or not, great. They played wonderful. R.J. Davis made threes, but, you should never have a bonus for being the head of a chair, getting your team in. That's bad business.
But they knew that there was going to be blowback, right? You can't be in that committee and go, boy, how's this going to look? But then you just say, maybe we just survived the first couple of days here.
Dan, that's exactly. We all know, right? I always said this when I was at ESPN, Dan. Bracket was going to come out. Billis was going to complain about the seeding. Dick Vitale was going to complain that the little guy didn't get in, right? And that'll last for 24, 48 hours. And then we move it along, and we had maybe the greatest game of the tournament, the first game with Alabama State. But that's how you got to be. You're in the public eye. Things come, they go, they blow over, and you move it along, and the game's starting. What does Billis say? It's idiot-proof. And, boy, is that true. It's just a great tournament every year.
Yeah, but you start to look at this, and then Jim Boeheim last year said on our show, they should expand it to 96 teams. How many is too many, Dan?
Dan, I've always said this, and tell me if you think this is wrong, but I've always said everybody is in the NCAA tournament. You have a conference tournament. You win, you stay in. I get it. CBS or whomever, they do their thing, and great. But everybody's already in. I don't care. Expand it. Dan, I'm at an age where I love the games. I love the sport. Give me more is fine. But I've said this. Everybody's in a tournament, and I think Vegas should determine the bracket. Take Vegas, take the human air out of it. Give your parameters, give your policies, give it all to those guys in the desert, as Brent would say. And let's figure this out. Let them do it unbiased. And then we got a bracket, and we move it along. Those are the 2 things I've always said. Everyone's already in the tournament. You got a conference tournament, you got a chance. Don't lose, and you keep playing.
Yeah, I've been saying the last couple of years, let's just take it out of a committee. Let's do it with the people who it's all about the bottom line, all the money that's made with March Madness. Let Vegas figure this out. I did think of you yesterday. We were talking about how Georgetown had to fire Patrick Ewing. St. John's had to fire Chris Mullin. Houston fired Clyde Drexler. Steve Alford has never been offered the Indiana job. Is that correct? And if so, why not?
There's a weird thing. Quinn Buckner, at this time, is the head of the board of trustees. And he's got some weird, and this is true. I mean, nobody admits this, but I know this. Knight told me this. He's got some daddy thing with Knight and Alford. It's a really weird thing, Dan. And the previous guy, the AD, and Buckner's the head of the board of trustees. The previous guy, Rick Greenspan, the athletic director, didn't like Alford. He was at Illinois State. They had some kind of hassle. Dan, I've never understood it. I've said
Okay, but
forever.
wait a minute. So Quinn Buckner's daddy issue with Bob Knight and therefore doesn't want Steve Alford to take
Yeah.
over.
I've never been able, and I've asked Steve, and that's all I've ever, it's just a weird thing where Buckner's jealous of the relationship and nobody will admit it, but I've heard this for so many years, and Buckner, again, he's ahead. Look, whether it's true or not, I bet, I always say gun to head. I think it's true as hell. Buckner and Woodson were boys. When Knight was first at Indiana, he kind of legally cheated. He got Woody, and I think Buckner, I know Scott May involved with a guy named Steve Ferguson, one of the richest guys. They bought all they bought all the apartments in Bloomington. Alford wasn't a part of that. It's a ridiculous, idiotic, stupid, desperate housewives kind of a program that hopefully now we got a decent dude in there that can coach some ball. West Virginia fans, you can suck it. I love that you're mad. Go away. Indiana got a good dude. Let's go.
He's Dan Dakich, host of Don't At Me podcast on Outkick. He played for Bob Knight at Indiana. You coached with him. Was there any joy when you played for Bob Knight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always say it was fun. And the fun was when you got his approval. The fun was how big the program was, how revered you were. But, Dane Fife and I always talk about this. As white dudes that aren't very fast, everybody thinks they're better than you. Like everybody that was third team all conference in their little conference, couldn't wait to play in the hyper. But playing basketball at Indiana, I don't know if it was fun. I don't know. Is that the same as joy? I don't know. I had a blast. I liked when he got crazy. I loved watching his eyebrows grow. Randy Whitman told me that he'll yell, his eyebrows will grow. But I loved everything about it. I loved the place. It was. I will tell you.
Did he scare you? Did Knight scare you?
Scare me? No, not at all. Make you question everything about yourself? Yes. Like, could you play? Like, could you think? Like, he would ask me, Dan, he would go, hey, Dakich, you're either too dumb to understand this or you don't listen to me. And I'm like, man, hey, Coach, I listened to every word you said. I'm just stupid. Like, I'm just a moron, Coach. But no, he made you question if you were working hard enough. He made you question. And, he's like my dad. My dad was a principal in Gary, Indiana, high school principal. He was like my dad, and I loved it.
Is Rick Pitino a feel-good story?
I think I like redemption. I like the fact that Rick Pitino humbled himself. He went to Greece. It's funny. I was talking to some coaches about him going to Greece and winning that league. Dan, that league is a big-time league. He won that thing twice, and I remember thinking, I don't care. I don't care the backstory. I think Rick Pitino, I would have hired him in a second. And, Dan, the other thing is I wish Louisville would do this. I wish Louisville would say, screw you. We're putting the banner from 13 back up. NCAA is feckless right now, Dan. And, well, okay, get mad at us. Good for you. I don't care. I really wish they would do that.
Would you do that if you're Michigan? Their Final Four banner?
Yeah, Final Four may be a little different. And those guys, Weber allegedly was going to jail if the Martin guy didn't die, for life. That got a little bit, that got a little bit too much in the courts for me, but I think I would now.
Okay.
I haven't thought about it. I'm just thinking about that for the first time. Yeah, I think I probably would. I think I'd say, look, these games were played. We won them. You don't like it? It's like I used to tell my kids, Dan, you're mad at me? Really? I still tell them, you're mad at me? Go stand over there in the corner and be mad and let me know when you're not mad anymore and come back. I would. I would put those banners up at Michigan. I certainly would do it at Louisville. Absolutely.
Sneaky team that you like in the tournament?
It's funny. Everybody likes Drake, and I love Drake's coach, but I saw today 71% of the money is bet on Drake. That tells me bet against Drake. Every time the the public goes on someone I go against. I will tell you a team I'm fascinated by, and Dan, that's Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Dan, with Mike Tirico and I used to do this when we were broadcast. We wouldn't look at the line until game time, and then I would ask him, Mike, what's the over/under? And he was really good. Like he would, I think he cheated, but he would nail it. But with Wisconsin, the over/under was always like 120 something, right? 118. They can get in the 80s. They can get high 70s. I'm fascinated because, Dan, they have switched their entire operation. I mean, when you and I were in college, Dan, we went, in my time at Indiana, 17 years, we went, first 16 years, we went 31-1 against Wisconsin. And so they got Dick Bennett. They went a different way. Now they're going to up and down. I'm fascinated to see how they do. And I'll tell you what, I like Kentucky. I don't know why. I got them going to the Final Four, D. I like their team. I'm not mad at their path. I just do. And, one of the sleeper teams that I like, I'm anxious to see what High Point does today against Purdue. And I'll tell you why. I've never seen a guy used more than Braden Smith is used at Purdue. Like, Dan, they don't have a second ball handler. Kid's a first-team All-American. He's asked to do everything, and I mean everything. And I thought, I'm not I'm one of those guys, hey, shut up, put some dirt on it, and let's go. I don't want to hear about you being tired. But, Dan, that dude legitimately should be wore out. And I'm anxious. High Point gets up and down. They can score it. They got a good coach. I'm looking forward to that game, and I'm looking forward to Creighton and Louisville. Louisville got job. Creighton got job. 8-9 game, my ass.
Yeah, I know. That'll be just, Creighton's got a lot of things that you need to advance in the tournament. I'll leave you with this. Your days as a player, as a coach, as an assistant coach, the best performance you ever saw by a player was turned in by who?
Calbert Chaney against Louisville in the NCAA tournament, Dwayne Morton. Dwayne Morton was really good back then, and Calbert, he said something to Calbert. I don't know if this is the best, but Calbert was a player of the year. Morton said something, and Calbert just went stupid. You know what I mean, Dan? Like, Calbert was the nicest guy in America, easiest guy in the history of basketball to coach every day. And I never saw this until this guy, Dwayne Morton, came at him. And, Dan, it was like guys talking about Michael Jordan when you said something to him. He had an electricity. It was in the regional. I think it was in the Sweet 16, maybe 93. He dunked on him, got face-to-face, and I'm sitting there going, wait a second here. Hang on, baby. That's pretty damn good. Shaq, we beat Shaq. He made all 12 of his free throws in 92, his last game. True story. He had 36 and made all of his free throws. And I told Matt Nover, the guy that guarded him, I said, Matt, I've never said this about a dude that got 36 on you, but that was a hell of a defensive performance, brother.
What was the performance better than your performance against Michael Jordan?
Nothing will ever surpass that, Dan. Nothing in the history of basketball.
You've been dining out on that for decades, that you held Jordan under 20.
Held Jordan under 10. I fouled out. He got 4 more. He ended up with 13. I was a little pissed about that, Big D.
Did you say anything to him at all during that? I mean, he wasn't Michael Jordan then when we were playing him in college, but was it still there that you were, you could get him fired up?
No, Dan, I don't know if you remember this, but Orlando Woolridge and Notre Dame beat Virginia and Ralph Sampson. And I was at the game. And Orlando Woolridge said, I didn't say a word to Ralph. I just stayed behind him and next to him. Didn't say a word. And I thought about that. And I did that during that game. I didn't say a word. But if he was back, somebody was shooting free throws and he was at half court, I stood next to him. If he was on the free throw line, I stood there. I don't know why. I did, though, Dan. We played golf that summer. I beat him out of $6,000, and I talked a lot of ish that night. Dan, I'm not going to lie to you. I told him, I'll play you for any dime you want. I'll play you for everything you want because you suck, and I'm good, and I'm going to kick the living out of you. And he owed me $6,000 by the end of the day. And, of course, being Michael Jordan, he never paid. But, hey, I don't care. It's a good story.
Keep stirring it up. Great to talk to you as always, bud.
Thanks, brother. See you.
That's Dan Dakich, the host of Don't At Me podcast on Outkick. I loved him on games. I thought he was one of the best basketball analysts that I'd ever heard. He was great at dissecting a game, and if you're learning the game while you're in the locker room with Bob Knight as an assistant coach, and Dakich was really good. I miss him on the Fox well, he was on ESPN, but the coverage of college basketball. We'll take a break. Last call for phone calls. What we learned, what's in store tomorrow, right after this.